Alright guys, hello, welcome back to the channel. Hopefully with a more cheery episode today. But yesterday's episode was super important. Hold on, let me just close that. How unprofessional of me. But we're keeping it in. Yeah, yesterday's video was a little not cheery, but I feel like it's an important one. And I really, truly hope it can reach a lot of people. If any of my videos go viral or something, I want that one too, because that one means a lot to me. But anyway, we're here for a different topic today. I told you we'd be doing a different series today, and we are. Today we're going to be covering a series I've had spoken to me over and over and over again to check out, like, oh, you'll love it, you'll love it, you'll love it. So today we're going to be covering Arcane, episode 1. And I gotta say, guys, it was a pretty good start to a show, if I say so myself. I didn't know how I'd feel about the show, because, spoiler alert, I know nothing of League of Legends. 0%. I don't know a single thing. I've never played the game, anything like that. I know nothing. So I didn't know how I'd feel about this show. But, I've had it recommended so many times, almost to the point of being a little annoying. So I thought I'd check it out. And episode 1, I thought was pretty good. So let's just hop right into it. So I'm a little excited, honestly, to get into it. So let's go. First off, I do want to start off by saying the art style really is kind of like a standout. It's a standout, It's kind of cell shaded to a bit. It kind of reminds me of like Borderlands graphics, It's just, that's what I've heard people say all the time. It's just the animation. I gotta say, I agree. It looks really good. It's very distinctive, and that I like. It kind of draws you in when you see it, So yeah, that's a standout thing in the show. All right, it looks great. First and foremost, episode 1 looked great, and I gotta say, they did a great job. Of world building. The world is very fascinating, actually. That was one standout thing I saw from it, personally. Is that the world was just so interesting to me. I just want to know more about it. And I'm sure all the League of Legends guys out there, and girls, I see you out there. But I'm sure all of you are like, oh man, this is great. I can't believe they brought this city or this area or whatever. We're just going to skip over that right now. We're just going to get into the meat and potatoes. Alright, so our episode starts with us meeting our two sisters. And for this, guys, I did write notes and all that, and I'm probably going to look down at them every once in a while. Because like I said, I am a League of Legends noob. I don't know nothing. So I had to write names and all that down, so bear with me a bit. Alright, but our episode starts with our two sisters, Vi and Powder, apparently in like a war zone. That opening cinematic was crazy. About the one officer guy just fucking shooting that one guy and then just taking him out on the ground. And war, man, war's crazy. But it looks like we found our two sisters on a battlefield of all things, and it looked pretty grim. It was pretty grim looking. There's nothing cheerful about being on a battlefield, guys. Trust me. But yeah, and then as they're walking across this war-torn, I can't talk apparently, war-torn bridge, they run across our other main character of the episode. What was his name? Vander. And I gotta say, this guy, he don't look like someone you want to be running into on the battlefield. He had like these giant metal gauntlets and all that, and he was just beating the hell out of people. And he runs up on, or should I say, our sisters kind of run up to him, and he's just beating the hell out of someone. He's just in a fist fight, and then he just looks at them. And I want to say that they knew the person he was fighting. I want to say they did, because, what was her name? Vi. She kind of broke down when she saw who he was fighting, and into tears. And of course, she's trying to stay strong for Powder. You know, she's holding her hand, trying to carry her across this battlefield. Be like, it's alright, it's alright. You know how brothers and sisters are. I got an older brother myself, and he definitely looked out for me during tough times. So of course, as a big sister, she's gonna look out for her. And then she just starts crying when she sees the person Vander was fighting. So I'm going to assume that she knew who that was. Maybe it was her mother, because it looked like a woman he was fighting. I couldn't tell. I might have to go back and update you guys in the next video, but it looked like a woman to me. So yeah, and he's just seeing them breaking down. Vander. He's just seeing them breaking down, just crying, and he just has a look on his face like, what am I doing? What am I doing right now? Like, what am I really doing? So he drops the gauntlets, and he just takes them with him, you know? He's like, I can't do this anymore. War, if Fallout has taught us anything, guys, war never changes. It's a hell of a thing. You don't ever want to be in a war. I know people in war, guys, trust me. It's... Movies glorify it too much, but it's nothing. It's nothing good. But yeah, he just carries them off the field, like, apparently in his head thinking, I'm gonna look out for you two. You two are my responsibility now. And you know, that kind of hit me, because it was an emotional scene, if you really think about it. Something like that. But as they're leaving, you can just see Vi looking at the people that he was fighting with pure disgust. And I mean, how would you feel if your world was just completely turned upside down by these people? She's just looking at them with pure disgust. So I'm absolutely sure that will come up at some point later. But alright, now that we're through with that scene, pretty powerful scene, by the way. Pretty good way to start a show, if you ask me. Pretty emotional. Already gets us invested with our two female characters. Our two sisters, of course. But yeah, now we flash forward. I don't think it said how many years, actually, but we flash forward, and they're more grown up, more matured. And the sisters, along with some friends, are actually planning a heist. I gotta say, it was pretty cool. You know, they're trying to sneak into this place and get some goodies, you know? Because we've seen in a lot of different media, you know, you got the topsiders and you got the people that are on the bottom. The topsiders are always the ones that are better off and all that. And you really do hate to see it, because unfortunately that kind of class division, that shit happens all the time. And it's just, you hate to see it. But you know, you do what you gotta do when you're poor, man. Like, I certainly don't have a ton of money, but I make do, you know? You do what you gotta do to survive. So they're planning a heist. So they got a tip. They got a tip on a nice little place, you know, up top. They're like, hey, we can go steal some goodies, bring it back, make some money, you know? We're nickel and diming ourselves here. We gotta live. So they go do a heist. They break into this place. And then that one guy, I can't remember their names, the two guys' names. I imagine they're not going to be too important, but hey, if they are important, I will definitely remember them for the next one. He's just getting a bunch of junk, the one guy, who's played by the voice of Sasuke, I might add. I don't remember his name, but I remember his voice. He's in so many things, so many video games, so many things. And he's fucking Sasuke. Sasuke Uchiha from Naruto, guys. Like, of course I'm gonna recognize his voice. And he's just stealing a bunch of crap. You don't know what he's taking. He's getting nose hair trimmers and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, but then eventually the little sister, Powder, is looking around for more valuable things. And she apparently finds these crystal things. You know, like I said, I don't know League of Legends in the slightest. So I don't know what these things are. but they're highly volatile. Apparently, they go boom, in layman's terms. So, of course, they're in there, they're stealing stuff, and she sees these, so she grabs them all, because, of course, they look valuable. They look like little diamonds and gems. So, of course, you're gonna want to grab those. I'd grab them, personally. I don't know about you guys, but I'd grab them. And, of course, as they're collecting stuff, who should try to come back in but the owner? So now they're in a mad scramble trying to get whatever they can. So she grabs all these crystals all at once. And they're running out, but of course, we gotta have a show. So she drops one, and that's when we realize, oh, these things go boom. And boom did it go. It destroyed the entire building, bringing the whole building down. So of course they're caught now, obviously. Well, not caught, but they're found out about. So they're just running through the streets. And they got the enforcers chasing them, which I imagine are the topside police. Yeah, pretty safe bet. Even I can figure that out. So they're just getting chased and chased and chased. And it's a pretty cool sequence, honestly. They're just running through the streets trying to avoid these guys. And they're throwing these, like, ball things that apparently turn into handcuffs, which I thought was kind of interesting, kind of cool. And the kids are just dodging left, right, bob, weave. They're just dodging, and they eventually do get away from them, albeit with a little bit of a struggle. And they're heading back, they're heading back to their house and their base of operations, and who should stop them but these bums, and I mean bums, guys. They even call them that in the episode. These bums are just waiting to ambush them. You know? They're just waiting there to try to see what's up. And of course their one friend's running his mouth like, yeah, we got some good loot this time. Like who says that? Who really says stuff like that when you do something illegal? Who runs their mouth like that? Stupid. Stupid people do. So of course they're like, hey guys, why don't you come give us a little bit of that loot, you know, and we'll let you be on your merry way. We wouldn't want this to get ugly. You know, the typical stuff you see in all this crap. All these shows and movies and all that. The typical generic bad guys. So they're like, nah, we worked too hard for this. And Vi's just like, alright, you want just a taste? And then she just cold cocks him with the bag, which is badass, of course. Of course it's badass. She's like, we worked hard for this. You ain't getting shit. And of course a fight just breaks out. And man, I gotta say, they're getting their ass whooped. They do some ass whooping, but they are getting their ass whooped at the same time. It's a pretty close fight. So of course she tosses the bag to Powder. And Powder's just sitting there like, oh man, I can't get into a fight. I'm not tough like you guys. She's just sitting there watching this fight break out. And of course the big guy, he's putting in the work. Let's just say that. He's beating everyone's ass. But of course he's not really paying attention. So he beats this one guy up, throws him over. But he throws him over in front of Powder all of a sudden. And she's holding the bag. So this guy's like, oh, this kid's an easy mark. So, of course, he starts chasing her. She makes a break for it. Who wouldn't, to be fair? Because trust me, guys, getting punched in the face is never fun. I've been punched in the face. I've done the punching in the face. It is not fun. You don't want to get punched in the face. So, you get out of there. And, of course, she does. She starts running. And her sister, man, she's handling everyone. They eventually win the fight. And then this one guy pulls a knife out. Like, what a generic thing, you know? What a generic bad guy thing to do. Gets their ass whooped. He's like, hey, man, hey, I'll stab you. And she just walks up like a total badass. Like, oh, yeah? You want to see how this ends? And he knew right away. It's like, you pull a knife on the wrong person, that knife's going to be in you. Let's just say that. So, of course, he backs up. But Powder's still being chased by this one dude. And she, of course, is apparently an inventor. She makes these little trinkets and inventions, which I'm sure will play a big part later on in the show. But anyway, yeah, she's trying to get away from this guy. She has an invention. It kind of looked like a bomb she had. Like she was making like a little bomb. Looks like she's putting nails in it. I just got to imagine that if that went off, that would hurt. Just imagine like a nail bomb. Like I'm sure they have those already, but just imagine that. Just a bomb going off and nails just going all in you. That would suck. But unfortunately, it does not work. So she does the only thing she really can do because she's no fighter right now, guys. You know, getting into a fight can be scary at times. So she dumps the loot over the edge of the bridge, which, definitely sucks. Let's not say it's not going to suck because it basically means you did all that for nothing. You know, you got chased by the cops, you blew up a building. You got into a fist fight and all that, and then what do you get out of it? You know, you get some lumps and bruises. But she does get away from him, which is a good thing, because this guy, he's like, to be honest, I'd probably hop into that water and get it. It didn't look that deep. That stuff looked valuable. But anyway, he runs away. She runs away. She gets away, which is a good thing. And they all meet back up. And of course, the rest of them are pissed. Like, who ain't gonna be pissed? You know? You did all that for nothing. They're like, oh, this girl's useless. And Vi just not having it. She's just not having it. That's her sister. How you gonna sit here and badmouth her sister? She's like, nah, shut up. It happens. You know? At least you're okay. Which is true. You know? So they're heading back. They're heading back to their, where they live, which is apparently the underground. Which I thought is very interesting. Like I said, I think the episode does a great job of showcasing the world and just how vastly different the top side and bottom side is. It's like night and day, guys. If the top side is like Beverly Hills or something, the bottom is like it's like a trailer park or something. You know, it's not good. Is not good. It's filled with a bunch of people down on their luck, and they just do a really good job of showing the class divide in the show. They do a good job of showcasing, honestly, just the world. The world's really interesting. It's very fascinating, and I can't wait to see more. But yeah, they go back to the bar, which was The Last Drop. I thought it was a good touch. Great name for a bar, by the way. I would go to a bar called The Last Drop. And it's there that we get reintroduced to our boy Vander, who apparently is like a legend around here. The man said it himself, like, you don't get into an argument with the guy who pours the drinks. Because yeah, he sees a little dispute going on about these guys not trying to pay this guy for his intel and or wares and all that, and you can't have that. You know, you gotta be a respectable businessman, even down here. He goes in there and breaks it up. And they're like, hey, we ain't trying to fight the whole bar. So they eventually back off and all that. And that's when the kids come in. And he sees them. He goes over and talks to them. And he's just like, yo, what happened, guys? Like, why are you blowing up a building? To be fair, a very valid thing. Very valid thing to say. Who blows up buildings? You know, that's some terrorism stuff. But of course, he sits down and talks to him. He kicks the others out because he wants to talk to Vi alone. And he's like, what are you doing? These kids look up to you. You know, you can't be doing stuff like this. Can't be. If you say jump, they jump. You say swim, they swim. You light a fire, they bring the oil. You know? And that's a very true statement. When people look up to you, you can't act stupid. You know, you have to be responsible. Because it's not just your life that's in your hands, it's their lives. So he's just laying into her. But of course, you know, being the cool guy he is, he's talking to her. And he's just like, hey, those guys that jumped you, you put him on his ass, right? Which is something that my grandfather would always kind of do, you know. Because, you know, you want them to be tough. You don't want them to get into a fight, but if they do get into a fight, you want them to win. So he's chewing him out. But, of course, he understands, you know. He's definitely had a troubled past by how he looks, you know. She's just talking to him. And he's like, I'm gonna go handle this. I'm gonna go talk to your informant. You guys just lay low for a bit. So, of course, he does. And where were we in the next part? Oh, he goes to his one buddy's place. It looks like he owns a shop. And they're just shooting the breeze. You know, they look like they've been buddies a long time. And his buddy's like, man, they were getting followed by these strange people. Like, these kids, man, you can't be looking out for them all the time. They want to go out and make their own legacy, which I think we can understand, you know? We all have dreams and aspirations, even if some are a little stupider than others, but, you know, he's just looking out for them. But he's like, you can't be looking out for these kids forever, you know? They gotta learn. They're growing up. And as they're there, it looks like, well, what did I say? The enforcers were their name. They come into the shop. And apparently they had a deal with Vander already. Like, hey, you keep these kids off the streets up here. I stay out of your business, you know? Which seems like a pretty good thing, honestly. Like, hey, it's basically, hey, you stay out of my way, I'll stay out of your way. And we'll go our merry ways. But she's like, nah, I gotta arrest someone tonight, you know? The brass, they want a name. They want to pin this on someone. People gotta feel safe. And that kind of stuff happens all the time. All the time, guys. Nowadays. Not even nowadays, just honestly throughout history, you know? Even if someone didn't do it, they always pin it on someone. They gotta do it as fast as possible so the public doesn't freak out. People gotta feel safe, you know? Whether they really are or not. That's a different topic, but yeah, she just gives him an ultimatum like, hey, I need a name. Like, someone's got to go down for this. And if you can't tell me, I got to bring a bunch of enforcers down here, and you know how that's going to go. And he definitely did. He shut up real quick after that, but he never ratted them out. Never ratted them out. Good on him. Seems like a dope guy. Can't wait to see more of him. She's like, yeah, if you change your mind, you can reach me with this. Which I assume is like some phone or something in this world. Like I said, they did a great job of doing the world, guys. I'm super interested in the world, actually. That's my biggest takeaway from it, is that I'm very curious to see where the story's going. But alright, we go back to our two sisters, and of course, Powder's she's just depressed, you know, because if you think about it, she kind of screwed up the whole plan. So Vi's just like, nah, you can't be sitting here. Don't worry about it. Come with me. Come with me for a bit. Oh, actually, before I gloss over this part, this is where we find out that Powder is an inventor. That she makes a bunch of stuff. Which I'm definitely sure will play a bigger part later in the show. Because, hey man, if her invention would have worked, they definitely would have kept all that stuff, you know? So, just gotta keep at it. But yeah, she's like, hey, come with me. Don't be sitting here moping. Come with me. As a good older sister does, she takes her around and she takes her up top and she shows her, hey, we all have our terrible days. Look at that. He was trying to draw a middle finger over there. He got chased by the cops, and look at the big ass mark he left. Falling. So I thought it was funny. And the one guy got his foot caught, and they just left him there all night. That was pretty funny. She's like, hey, like I just said, we all have our bad days, you know? But one day, they're going to remember who we are. And then we just have this really good panning shot of the whole city as it ends on their scene. And I thought that was a really good way to end that segment. But then we get introduced to what looks like our villain of the series. And let me just say, you couldn't have like a more stereotypical villain. He's looking like Two-Face. Got one messed up part of his face. He's got a messed up eye and all that. And we find out that he was the guy that sent these guys, that sent the thugs from earlier to try to steal their stuff. Which is pretty interesting, honestly. Because, like, what are those crystals really? Oh, I did gloss over it. We find out that Powder actually does still have those crystals with her. And she asks, do we want to tell Vander? And then Vi's just like, no, we don't want to do that. We'll just keep this between us, you know? So that's definitely gonna play a part later in the show. Those crystals are powerful, man. Just one was able to destroy that whole building. So who knows what they could do with it? Maybe she'll use them to help her inventions get better. You know, that's all I can really think about right now. Maybe the energy is what she needed to power her inventions in the future. But yeah, anyway, we go back to our villain, who turns out sent these thugs after them to get this stuff. So I imagine he's also the one that kind of tipped off the other guy who tipped them off. It's kind of like a ring, you know? It's like, hey, you go get that stuff and then they'll rob them. Yeah, he sent them after her. So he's just bringing this guy back, trying to get info from him. And this guy, of course, lets spills that they were the ones that did the explosion, and it really piqued his interest. He was going crazy. Or not crazy, per se, but he definitely had his interest piqued. Like, that info definitely kept that one guy alive, by the way. He was absolutely about to kill him. It's like, nah, get this guy a meal, get him out of here, keep him off the street, keep his mouth shut. And we find out he's up to no good, as a villain would be, obviously. And he's testing this liquid, this strange liquid that's kind of like some pink venom from Batman, you know? It apparently... Alright, before I even get into that, let's just say, I hate seeing animals get hurt. Even that mangy looking cat, you know? So of course it's feeding time, and as you would think, oh, he throws a cat into a container with a mouse, you know? He's trying to feed the cat. No. He puts this liquid that they're testing out into the mice's drinking thing, and this mice just gets hench, and just completely kills the cat. So this stuff is some bad news. If this drug or liquid or whatever it is, some bad news, and that's how our episode ends, you know? And I gotta say, it was a good first episode. It introduced us to our characters, gave us a bit of their backstory, introduced us to the world. I think they did a great job introducing us to the world of the series. I know nothing about it, and I'm actually really curious to dive back in. I had to stop myself, guys, from watching the next episode. I really wanted to get into the next episode right away, but I had to stop myself. So I wanted to come talk to you guys about this episode. So yeah, not really too much happened, but like I said, it was a great first start to an episode, and it really just begs the question, like, what is this liquid? What does he want with this stuff that he wanted the kids to steal? And what is he really after, you know? It really begs that question. But yeah, you guys let me know in the comments how you felt about this episode. I'm sure a lot of you have seen it already. Here I am late to the party yet again with everything. But, you know, I didn't know if I'd like the show. And I gotta say, now that I sat down and watched the first episode, it was pretty good. I heard from people that you don't need to know about League of Legends to watch this show, which is a really good thing. That was one of the things that was keeping me from watching it. Because I didn't know, like, oh man, I've never played the game. Like, am I gonna not, all this stuff gonna go over my head? Am I gonna not know what's happening? But so far, so good. You know, it's pretty straightforward, easy to follow. I heard you don't need to have played the games or anything, so that's good. But yeah, I can't wait to get into the next episode with you guys. This episode was pretty good. Like I said, the animation just is a standout. It reminds me a lot of Borderlands with the cell shading, if I can get the words out. But yeah, you guys let me know what you thought of the episode in the comments. Leave a like if you like the video, you know. It's a longer video, you know. I had a lot to talk about. And nothing to talk about at the same time. But no, I had fun. I had fun with the episode. I can't wait for season 2. You know, leave a comment. Tell me what your favorite part of the episode was. Leave a like, because that greatly helps me out. Shows me that you guys are interested in the videos and all that. And yeah, subscribe for more content, because I can't wait to get in episode 2, honestly. So yeah. I will see you guys in the next one. Deuces. And I hope you all have a very lovely day. See ya.